Good evening, my beautiful crime family. And how did you like that awesome show last night with Cy and Carrie? I had so much fun. And being my birthday and everything, that was an awesome, awesome birthday. Set up by Kathleen and my bots. And tonight, this is kind of a surprise. But something came out and we need to get this going because this is quite something. So I'm going to bring up Ms. Golf Inspector General and Mr. Rory. How you guys doing, man?
Hey, good. How is everybody out there?
Yeah, got some people in here already chatting away. I want to say hi. I should have done that first, I guess. Hi, Social Glow and Deborah Putnam, my girl. Good to see you. Miss Girl, good to see you. Jetro Troll, good to see you. Social Glow, good to see you. Oh, Tammy, good to see you. Angela, good to see you. Crime Spy, good to see you. Bubbly's in the house. Good to see you, girl. Chocolate, good to see you. Debbie Gonzalez, good to see you. Mama Five, good to see you. And everybody that's chatting, good to see you. My beautiful crime family. Okay, so we got something to talk about, right?
Oh my God, do we?
Yeah.
We have
So
a bomb to drop.
we do. And maybe I'll just run that little short thing I got. Did you bring yours too, by any
I did. I
chance?
have the full version if you want me to share it. I can share the whole
Okay,
thing and we
I
can
want to
just
kind of do this one.
Yep, yep.
Okay, I kind of want to do this one little thing. So
Yeah, go
check
ahead.
this out. Yeah. And where did it go? Oh, it's still loading.
The crime scene doesn't exist anymore. They've knocked down the house. They've demolished the house. And to add to that, the crime scene doesn't exist anymore. They've knocked down the house. They've demolished the house. Here's what the prosecution and legal authorities say. Here's what the prosecution and legal authorities say.
But I'm just wondering, if we can push you outside of this book and have you tell us some of the stuff. Didn't you, in all of your 324 interviews and going around
Andrew,
didn't you find that maybe there were some rabbit holes that had been unpursued? Are there things outside of the four corners of the book that you can tell us and break some news here?
All right, there's something I'm looking into now, and I'm not the only one looking into it now. The federal authorities are looking into a stolen lab card at Washington State University.
Okay, so yeah, this is Andrew is here.
Yeah, hi Andrew.
He's in the house. Would you like to come up, Mr. Andrew?
Oh, Andrew, this is a good job. This is a good job. You did so well on this one. Fantastic.
Yes, you did. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put out a thing. Okay, I got to get to my YouTube here, but I'm going to put out a link for you, Andrew. If you want to jump up, that would be really awesome. I just got to get to my page here and do this and that.
He says you lost subscribers
and wait for chat to load.
That's what.
Actually, I think
Andrew said people hate us. We lost subscribers. I mean, it can go either way because people don't know in this community don't like Howard Bloom. Perhaps I don't know. But
right. Look, see if tell me if that's a link or not, Andrew. Click on that link right there that I put up there. If it's not a link, then I'll put it up a different way. Who lost subs?
No. Andrew said that they hate us. We lost subs over that Howard Bloom interview they just did. Which I said it can go either way because people in this community
Really?
like Howard Bloom, I guess,
Oh,
or it's the other side. I don't know.
yeah.
I
Well,
think, I
nobody's
mean,
liking him right now. I don't think nobody is liking him.
yeah.
There's a link for you, Andrew, if you would like to jump up.
We lost
And there
Rory
he
too, I
is.
think. Oh. Good evening.
Yeah, Rory's gone. Hi, Andrew. How you doing, brother? Good to see
Can
you.
you even hear me? Can
Yes.
you even hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
And your television.
Yeah.
I've got to turn the TV off. Hold on. I've got to turn the TV off. Oh my God.
Right. Am I froze up or something?
Yeah,
have
you're
to,
froze. You froze.
I'm froze. Okay, I'm going to redo something here. Reloads.
Oh, okay, Andrew. Hi. You did a fantastic job, by the way, with Howard Bloom. You didn't let him railroad you, and you made him defend his work, basically. Do you hear me?
I hear you, but there's like an echo. I don't know what I need. I don't know what I need to do to get on the same page as you with the audio. But
Uh-oh.
yeah, I do hear you. But
Oh, I hear you really fine. Yeah, I hear everybody. Everybody's good now.
In
Well,
chat,
yeah.
am I echoing in chat? Can you hear me as
No.
echoing?
Mm-mm.
I wonder if they do out there.
I think everybody's fine.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, everybody's fine. So how you doing, Andrew? It's been a little while.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just like
Good.
sitting here listening to some Beethoven.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go. Right. Some classical. Yeah. Music's always a good thing. Well, that was quite the interview this morning. Did you say you lost some subs over it? Did you?
Well, yeah, people. I've been deleting comments all day. I think all of our viewers are furious because people just they either believe one thing or they believe the other, and you get someone else that has a different viewpoint, which we should to expand our mind. People were furious. I've deleted at least 100 comments that were nasty.
What?
They excoriated Bloom. They excoriated me. They even excoriated our little intern. We have a brand new intern, and they were going after her. And it's like,
oh boy,
yeah, we
that
lost
ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We lost
You'll get
today. Yes.
You'll get them back, Andrew. You'll gain them back. Yeah, that's too sad. That's too bad.
Yeah.
But this whole Bloom thing.
I didn't mean to stop you. Do what you were going to do. I'm just going to say.
No, this is what we were going to do. This is
exactly what we're going to do. And then you can agree with us or you can't. I don't know. It's up to you. But do you want me to run the whole clip of Mr. Andrew and his team doing a phenomenal job there so they can hear all of it?
Yeah.
Let me.
Well, not the whole hour, but the clip.
No, the clip. Yeah, like just that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
there's certain things in that thing that have been said that really struck our nerve.
Oh yeah. Do you want to put that up there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Which one is it here? Okay, this one.
Yeah, yeah. And then I'll start playing it, and I'll just stop.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Andrew, on this video, but
that's
when
fine.
you know.
Go.
All right, here we go.
Now, the book, to go to something we were talking about before, where are your sources? How, didn't you pull this out of your ear? The very back of the book has a bunch of pages where, with all due respect, Mr. Bloom tells us that he had, 324 interviews. 324 interviews, and he tells us who his sources were, although you may not have known this, Mr. Bloom, but I was a journalist for a while. Before I went to law school, I was a radio and TV journalist, and I understand the need to protect sources. If you don't protect your sources, they're going to dry out, and you're going to be bagging groceries at Walmart. So I understand that. I understand that fully. But I'm just wondering. I'm wondering if we can push you outside of this book and have you tell us some of the stuff. didn't you, in all of your 324 interviews and going around the scene, didn't you find that maybe there were some rabbit holes that had been unpursued? Are there things outside of the four corners of the book that you can tell us and break some news here?
All right. There's something I'm looking into now, and I'm not the only one looking into it now. The federal authorities are looking into a stolen lab card at Washington State University that might have been used. They're investigating, and many federal authorities believe, by Koberger to get the materials or the chemicals to make a bomb.
No.
And was Koberger manufacturing a bomb that he intended to use? Where he was going to use it? Was the house a target for a bomb? Was it somewhere else?
Serious?
But this is what is still being investigated as we sit here and speak today.
Well, all
That
This guy's an idiot. I'm so I lost all respect for this guy, and I used to have so much for him, and I just totally lost it.
Yeah. So, Andrew, I'm going to tell you exactly what I feel about this part here. But so here, for a long time now, or for a week, let's say, since I heard details from the book, I have to say my impression of this was that he is actually being fed information by law enforcement. And he's sort of, even in this little clip, attested to it, because he said the feds are looking into this, right? The card that he just mentioned. And
Right.
in exchange for this media witch hunt, let's say, or let's call it media portrayal of, how they want him portrayed because of lack of evidence. So I suspected this for a while now, that he's getting fed by law enforcement information in exchange for things like what he's doing right now. Now, this is taking it to a whole other level. This just cemented that theory in my mind. I'm curious to see what your thoughts on that is.
That's yeah.
See, I'm
What are
getting
your
audio in two different times. I'm getting audio, and then like about 5-10 seconds later, it's feeding back. So I'm sorry if I'm not on the same wavelength.
Do you have
but,
do you have a different computer on, or a different another YouTube on?
No.
No. Okay.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
Is it just my end, or is it Tommy's as well?
Well, you just did something that went away. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. No. Oh, wait, now, yeah, it's back. I just heard you say, is it my end twice?
Okay, let me kick this out of there.
People are so critical of the guy, and when they're so critical of the guy, I want to know all these people that say he's wrong, and I'm there. I don't agree with his. In the end of the book, he's got 3 pages where he lists what his theory is. He lists his theory, and I do not agree with him 100%. But don't be nasty about it. The man did 328 interviews. He worked for the New York Times, which in its day, that was the pinnacle of journalism. And in addition, he's won Pulitzer Prizes. So until you criticize the man and be nasty, tell me what newspaper you worked for, how many Pulitzer Prizes you won, and how many people you interviewed before you got nasty. That's how I feel about people that are just jumping all over it. I don't agree with his thesis, but I'll defend his ability to go out and do the research, be a journalist, make 324 interviews, win Pulitzer Prizes elsewhere. And just because we don't agree with the man doesn't mean we have to get all nasty. Now, I don't know anything about the bomb thing. I don't know anything about the bomb thing. But we'll find out.
But where's he getting the information?
Well, I'll tell you this. I remember back in the 90s, and I was a big Clinton supporter. I don't want to get into politics. I was a big Clinton supporter. And when this whole nasty thing came out about Monica Lewinsky, I said, oh, that's Bunk. That's horrible. Who reported that? That's nothing. Guess what? It was true. So that's what this reminds me of. I'm not saying it's true, but if you disagree with the man, where are your 324 interviews and where's your Pulitzer Prize from previous work?
He hasn't won one, by the way. He's just been nominated for Pulitzer.
Well, all right.
Yeah, and you know how that works. You can nominate anybody's book for a Pulitzer. I missed your whole. I got kicked off StreamYard, so I missed everything you said there. I am so sorry.
Yeah, that was me actually.
But that's okay. That's okay. I heard the end of it, so you don't agree to the witch hunt of Mr. Bloom because of what he did.
I just lost respect because I think he's spreading misinformation right before a trial. And it is going to taint that jury. It is going to. I don't care what anybody says. When that book is out, Idahoans are going to buy that book, and it's going to taint that jury. And he should not be putting out this book right before this trial.
And it's not. Let me take that further, Andrew. It's not. Yeah. There are plenty of books, like you pointed out. There's like 20, 30 books out there about the Idaho murders.
Count, there are 24 of them on Amazon. Yeah.
That's not a problem. You can put out any video, documentary, book, whatever you want. Yep. The problem with the Howard Bloom book is he's selling it as fact.
That's exactly.
That is the problem. He's selling it as fact, and so is the media. So if you look at how the media is treating his book, they're treating it as factual information as opposed to any other book that's been out there and released. So that's the big difference. And that's where my problem is, because I don't mind him writing his book. Go ahead and write 10 more, but don't sell it as factual. Sell it as fiction. So I'm sorry.
Where are your 324 interviews?
Well, I mean, he's not obligated to put out his sources. He's not obligated to do any of that, but he can't sell that as fact when he says, I believe in every other sentence.
I believe,
that. Don't you have an issue with
covering his ass?
I have an issue with you attacking him because I don't think that you've done the homework that he's done.
Sorry. Say that again. I'm sorry. Say that again. No. Say that again. I'm sorry.
He doesn't agree with you. He doesn't agree with you attacking him. And I understand where Andrew's coming from.
Don't agree with the man, but he has every right to do it. And if you're familiar with the Nebraska Press Association decision, you will know that the Supreme Court said that people have an absolute right. They have a First Amendment right. And the First Amendment right is, in fact, balanced against the Sixth Amendment right to a fair trial. So he has every right to write the book, especially where it's so well documented. And you have to understand that before I went to law school, I was a journalist.
Yes, I do.
So and I highly support the right of people to have freedom of expression, especially in a case like this where there have been redactions, things have been sealed. The court has played fast and furious with us and not telling us what's going on. So he has every right to do what he's doing.
Oh, absolutely. And I would stand up for his right any day. And that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. What I do not appreciate in how he does it, though, is his selling it as factual. Would you write a book like this, Andrew, as a journalist?
Let's start on page 1. What's not factual? Let's go.
I don't have the book. I will not buy the book.
Well, then how can you say that it's not factual? And how dare you say it's not factual?
Because what he's
I'm right here on page 1. Michael Kohlberger woke up early to check on the weather, but instead learned about the shooting.
Yeah.
So page 1. What's wrong about that?
How does he know? Did he talk to Brian Kohlberger?
No.
Did he talk to Brian Kohlberger? Did he talk? Andrew, did he talk?
Said that Andrew. It's not factual. So let's go through it.
Right. It's not factual.
No, I'm asking you.
It's not factual.
No, Andrew. Yeah,
let's calm down. The statement was made that it's not factual, and I'm ready, willing, and able to start on page 1 and go through it. Yes, that's my name. You can say it 1,000 times. I'm asking you to support what you said when you said it wasn't factual.
I can tell you 100% that's not factual unless you have talked to the man.
Where's your source? Did you do 328 interviews?
My source is Ladau County Jail because nobody's able to talk to the man.
That's a negative. I want a positive. You said and I don't want to be confrontational. I'm very calm here. I was just listening to Beethoven, so I'm very calm. But if you attack the man for being non-factual, you have an obligation to support that by telling me how it is that it's not factual.
I can tell you that for a fact, unless you're in that man's head.
What's your source?
I don't have a source other than that the man is sitting in Ladog County Jail and he has not spoken to anybody.
Sometimes, sometimes
pages and pages of sources. They're right here.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got to interrupt you.
There are pages and pages of sources.
Yeah, I'm not. I love this discussion.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna take a break. There are some things that he does paint as factual that are not, like digging into his father's mind, trying to tell people what his father was thinking in the car. That is not right to do.
And what's your basis to say that? Tommy, okay. I like you and I respect you as a musician. Musician to musician. But how do you know that? How do you know that?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what you're thinking right now. You're trying to tell everybody out there that they're a bunch of imbeciles. It's not a fact, is it?
No,
it's not a fact.
Those are your words, not mine. I didn't say the imbecile.
That's exactly what the point is. Those are Bloom's words, not Kohlberger's.
I asked your guest what her sources were, and she had none.
I don't have any sources, but I don't claim to be factual either. But he does, and there's the difference.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. Go listen to some Beethoven. Stop with the blues and the rock, and listen to some Beethoven and calm down.
Well, all I'm saying though, Andrew, is that you can't go into other people's minds and try to say that's a fact. Yeah. I'm sorry. If you can tell me what I'm thinking right now and tell me it's a fact.
I didn't interview 328 people about you.
That has nothing to do with.
It has everything to do with it.
It doesn't have nothing to do with him saying that about his father in the car and what he was thinking, and it has nothing to do with what Kohlberger was thinking reading a book.
and Andrew,
why don't we shift gears here and think about what I'm sorry that I interrupted your flow. What were you going to say on this show? Go ahead and say it.
My point was that this is a big boom. I mean, he's painting a factual picture that now we have a Unabomber situation here. They're gonna, the media is gonna paint out Kohlberger to not only be a mass murderer of 4 people, he's also now gonna be painted out as the Unabomber. And I really think that that's messed up.
There's a delay. I hear you both twice.
Oh, sorry. But going back to your point, though, I'm not selling it as factual. What I'm saying, I'm telling you my opinion. Whereas this man, Howard Bloom, is telling you what in his book as facts, and the media is spinning out of control over it because they're also selling it as fact. And I cannot believe you don't have a problem with that as a journalist. As a seasoned journalist, because you've been around for years, you know exactly how these things work. You have no right to come out telling people that you have a book that's factual, that's filled with interviews of people and what you think of what he wrote on a board. Listen. I'm listening to what he told you in your interview.
Have you read?
I haven't. I'm telling you, I'm not buying that book.
Well, how can you say that it's non-factual if you haven't even read it?
I can tell it from what he said in
Andrew, is it factual? Is it a factual book?
Have you read it, Tommy?
I'm asking you your opinion from reading it.
In order for me to be able to have the ability to answer your question, I need to know if you've read it.
I haven't read it, but is it factual? No, here's my question. Is it from your reading it? I want your opinion. Is it factual?
He has a ton of sources. Pages and pages and pages of sources. Now look, you really haven't listened to me. I told you I don't agree with the man. I don't agree with his thesis. I don't agree with his conclusion. But to just attack him without reading the book, to just disagree with the guy without realizing that he's a talented journalist and he went out to Idaho and he made 328 interviews, that's
That's
I respectfully disagree with
fantastic.
this.
And I love his reading and airmail articles. I read every single one of them.
Right.
But I can also listen to interviews where he's saying, okay, this part of the story, you're bringing up a part of the story, like he's bringing up part of it is what he got when he was building his character, quote unquote, in quotation, Koberger's character, he got from a message board that was supposedly Koberger, right? We think that's Koberger. He wrote on this message board, right? Is that correct? You're with me so far?
I
He
don't
said
know.
that to you.
I'm hearing everything twice. I'm hearing everything, and it's all mixing together. So I'm having a hard time hearing. I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, in fact, when you look at things like that, I'm not a psychologist, but when you're looking at somebody else from a psychology standpoint, you're looking at yourself. You're drawing conclusions from your own psychology and your own belief and whatever kind of person you are. So he's painting Koberger's psychology based on his own psychology. He's not a psychiatrist. He's not a
Well,
psychologist.
here's what I'll tell
To
you.
be able to make that
your show. I
assessment.
can't do this because I'm hearing things twice.
Okay.
I'm hearing things twice. I hear you talk, and then it feeds back. But here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I'll tell you. In researching to do my episode, which I'll stand by because I challenged him, I watched ABC right after the book came out, and they basically gave him a BJ and said everything was factual, everything was right. Then I watched Nancy Grace on Court TV, and she basically put him up on an altar and sat on her throne and worshipped him. I questioned him. I questioned him.
And that's what I appreciated.
I told him to his face I didn't agree with him, and I told him why. And I had 10 different reasons that I had written down, and I spat them all out to him. And I said, Mr. Bloom, with all due respect, I don't agree with you, and here's why. So I will stand by the episode that we did. And I think I was better than ABC and Nancy Grace. I used to be in the broadcasting business, and I think I could do a better job than both of them. So I will stand by what I did because I challenged him. I questioned him. I told him I don't support his theories. So your attacking me is really misguided, and you really need to rethink your approach to this.
I'm not attacking you, Andrew. I'm not attacking you. And I believe in free speech and being able to write too. I question the 324, I think it was 324 people.
He lists a lot of them. He lists them.
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah,
and we appreciate your show. We're not attacking.
But did you know at the end of did you look at the end of the book where it says this book is fiction?
Where does it say that? What page?
It's on there somewhere. It's in there somewhere.
Where? No, tell me what page, Tommy.
I don't know. I don't know.
How can you say that?
It's in the end.
Where?
It's in the end somewhere.
No.
This book is based on fiction.
The basis book. The page in the paragraph.
The book is based on fiction.
You said it's in the end 14 times. Now, give me the page in the paragraph.
Yeah, I don't have the book on me, so I can't.
Well, then you can't say that. See, that's the problem that I have here is that people criticize him and they haven't read the book and they don't understand what he's saying. So you're not qualified to make that statement, Tommy. I love you. You're a great guy. Okay. We're both musicians. But the thing is that you can't criticize the guy if you haven't read the book.
I can criticize him because I can bet you Nancy Grace didn't read his book either. $100 on that one. But and nobody's criticizing your show, Andrew, just as a FYI. I loved your show.
Here's the end of it. I'm looking at the end of it right now.
I haven't, honestly, I don't know about if that's in the book. As I never read it.
I'm looking for where it says it's fiction, and I don't see it.
That's what I've heard. So.
Oh, you heard it. Oh.
By more than one person, though. By more than one person.
Well, what page?
And Steve Goncalves even calls the new book by Howard Bloom fiction.
Well, they don't get along.
To nonstop. That's even Steve G is admitting that.
Did you see that I got an email from Steve G, which I read to Howard Bloom? Did you see that part?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
seen that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And doesn't he say that in that letter?
So I'm not going to say any. I'm not going to. Don't push me into a corner with Steve. I have nothing but respect for him.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
think you're misunderstanding us, Andrew. We're not attacking your show. I think you, by far,
Not at
have
all.
done the
Not
best
at all.
interview with Howard Bloom
Thank you.
out of everybody.
Yes.
That's not
Yep.
that's not what we're discussing here.
Yeah,
We're
I think
discussing
Andrew might be a
something
little upset about losing some some
subscribers.
subs, some
Yeah.
subs, and having a lot of nasty comments.
No, I
Those
just
are hard to deal with, man. They're hard to deal
Hi.
with, and it hits you in a personal way when you have, when you get negative comments
I think he's
and you lose
misunderstanding
subs.
us that we're attacking his show. And I love your kitty cat. What's her
Me
name?
too.
Her name is Diablita.
Diablita. Okay.
Diablita. All right.
So you heard me, right? We're not attacking your show. It's by far the best one I've seen out there so far.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this has got
Yeah.
nothing to do with how you conducted yourself or
Well,
what you
thank
did
you.
on your show. I have total
Yeah.
respect for that.
Yep.
This has
Same here.
everything to do with my issue with having someone come out, state something is factual when it is in fact not. I cannot back that up, but neither can he. He cannot back up that
Yeah.
that's a factual book. And I'm sorry you're
No.
taking it the wrong way. I understand your thinking in it, but
We have this
I
audio
don't-
problem, and I don't want to step on you. I really don't. But we have an audio problem. I hear you, and then 5-10 seconds later, I hear you later. So
Oh,
your
okay.
problem is really with him. Your problem is
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it
Yep.
has nothing to do with your show, I promise.
Nothing to do with you. Oh,
I
Andrew.
told him to his face. I don't agree with him, but I respect the fact that he did all that work. I'm still working. I still have a gig. I still have a job. I wish to hell I could go out to Idaho and do some legwork, because I've said for the longest time that I don't think the journalists out there are doing their job. I have read the Statesman and some of the other papers out there, and I think that what they're doing is sucking up to the courts and the government because they don't want to offend them, because they want to get the scoop. Trust me, I know the media. I used to work in the media, but I don't think that they're doing the legwork that Bloom did. Again, I don't agree with him. I don't agree with Mr. Bloom. I don't agree with Mr. Bloom. I don't agree with Mr. Bloom. I want to make that clear. But I respect the fact that he has sources. He did legwork. He did 328 interviews. So what he says, there's a basis for it.
Correct. And I agree with you. And what you're talking about is you're talking about people just going out there and reporting the news, as opposed to Howard Bloom, who's more of an investigative journalist, right? So that set him apart, because he went in there with the intention of investigating this crime, which he did in full more than anybody, right? I as I said, I don't have a problem with him.
Oh my God! One of your viewers just said I'm morphing into Biden. Oh my God!
Oh, no.
Why do people get so angry and bring politics into it?
No. So basically, what I'm saying is, I don't have a problem with him writing the book. You understand that far, right? It's what I'm having a problem with is if you sell something that's factual, that's not factual. You're trying to sell a book that's fact as a fact.
What I need you to do, and I've asked you about 3 or 4 times, I've asked you to tell me what sentence, what paragraph is not factual.
Unless you have a recording of what happened in that car, unless he talked to Mr. Koberger Sr. himself about this, which he doesn't claim to do. He did not talk to the family directly. He had indirect sources to the family. How does he know what happened in that car?
How do you know what didn't happen in the car?
Down to a point what happened in his mind. That's the problem. That's the problem here, Andrew.
How do you know what didn't happen?
I don't know what happened. Neither does Mr. Bloom 100%, because he was.
I think that here's what the problem is
there,
is
so
that he's got
factual story.
He's got opinions just like we do. Andrew, you do not agree with Mr. Bloom. I knew that before you even came on the show. I already knew that. Yeah. And Golf, you don't agree with him, and neither do I. He's got an opinion. But what he's doing is he's taking that opinion and he's trying to make it look like facts. And that's where you're walking on a very thin line, in my opinion. Now the media and how they can twist things and make things look like facts, and they're not facts. And media very well, Andrew, and how they can take non-facts and make it look like facts. And that's what I'm scared about on this book. Is it's painting Kohlberger as a killer when I do not believe he is. I have an opinion.
I agree
Right.
with you. I don't agree with
Right.
what Blum said in his book. I don't agree with him.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is he's trying to take his opinion and make it look like fact. And I think
But
that's what golf is having a problem
yeah,
with.
and if you
And
don't
me.
agree with him on his theories, how do you
Yeah.
take them as factual? Because he just wrote you a book. I don't know how many pages that book is.
It's like
He
215
just wrote you a
pages.
book. Yeah. So he just wrote you a 215-page book, which you're taking as factual, but you're still saying that you don't believe Kohlberger is guilty in this. He's a killer. So how do you take that as factual? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Again, you haven't read the book, so you're not really qualified to say that it's not factual. With all due respect.
Okay,
Well,
so you read the book, so you think it's factual?
Yes. And I've asked you several times in your guest golf, I've asked you to tell me line, page, paragraph, what's not factual.
I mean,
Let me back up and throw some perspective on this.
yeah.
Can I back up and throw some perspective on this? In the profession that I'm in as an attorney, we go to court. We go to court in the morning. We have a case. My client's viewpoint is A. My opponent's viewpoint is B. At the end of the day, the court makes a judgment. Whether they're right or wrong, they make a judgment. But my entire life, my entire professional life, I've had a viewpoint and someone else has had a viewpoint. And my viewpoint has to be reasonably based on facts and reality. So that's how I can see it my way, and Bloom can see it his way.
Sure, and that's true, but you're taking his book as factual, even though you do not agree with it.
I just
Actually, you're proving our point, Andrew. You're proving our point.
No, you
I
weren't
just
listening
don't
to
get
me.
it. No, but
You're
I still
proving
don't
our
get
point.
it.
I got to find out what this echo is. Hang on, I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
He's actually proving our point.
I don't understand what he
Because
don't understand.
he's actually proving our point, because he says that it's factual. So these people are going to read this book and think it's factual. And
Is it better?
just like Andrew did. Is
Do
it
you
better?
hear us better?
Andrew?
Oh, now.
No,
Do you
there's
hear
some
us?
kind of a delay. I'm hearing two different audios. No, it's not you, Golf. It's the whole thing. It's like when Tommy says something, I hear him say it, and then 5 or 10 seconds later, it comes back again.
Let me step out and come back in here. Maybe it's.
I don't think it's Tommy. You don't happen to have your YouTube on as well, do you?
Well, YouTube, is that the problem?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you got YouTube on, that's the problem.
How about now?
Well, we can talk and
There
you
we
can
go.
tell us.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes.
I need Lainey. She's my technical producer. She does all this.
Okay.
Yeah, we love Lainey, man. We love
Yeah,
her.
so do I.
Andrew.
Without her, I couldn't do this. I couldn't do this without her.
Did you hear my question
Right.
though? Did you got my
And
question?
I think I answered it.
Well, not really, because
No.
you're still taking a book as factual, even though you don't agree to what was there.
And actually, that kind of proves our point. You read the book and you're saying it's factual. So how many people in Idaho are going to read this book?
Tommy, and you didn't read
think
it,
it's
so you
factual?
have no basis to say it's not factual. You are
Exactly, but
unable to
that's
say that.
not the point. The point
It's
is how many
exactly the
people in
point.
Idaho.
Don't you dare wave your finger in my hand and tell me it's not the point.
No, I'm not. I'm going like
Exactly
this.
the point.
I'm
Tommy,
going
go
like
have
this.
another cigarette.
The thing is that people are going to read the book just like you did, and they're going to think it's factual, and that
can go read
is a
another
problem with me.
There's 24
Because-
different books. They can go read another one. or they can tune
Yeah,
into your podcast.
but the media is
or
not
my
selling that
podcast.
one, Andrew. The
I
media
don't
is
care
not
about the
selling it.
media. I could care less about the media because
I
did
mean,
you know
you
that?
might
Did you know
not,
that
but I
media? Did you
think
know that? Excuse me. Did you know that media experts are saying that in about 12 to 15 years, people will not be watching mainstream media anymore? It'll all be right here on YouTube.
thank God for that.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
That's a
give
good
me a little
way.
perspective.
ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, Fox, all of them, their ratings are at all-time lows. They won't admit it, but if you do some research, you'll find out that their ratings are all crap. And YouTube is going to be where everybody is. I don't know if you've had interns. I've had a bunch of them, college, high school, grad school, law school students. None of them read the newspaper. None of them watch the evening news on ABC, NBC, CBS. So this is where it is, right here. This is where it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't agree to that being fact, and that's my perspective. I have not read the book, and nor do I intend to read the book. And
I'm
that's
not-
not because I honestly have no interest in outdated information, number one, because a lot of that information he's got in there in court. We've seen that. You and I agree on that because we've seen it. And I think you brought it up on your show several times that there was no stalking, even though he brings it up in his book, the 12 times.
No. Just you have to read the book before you're even qualified to have this discussion. He says in his book he understands that there's been no stalking and there's been no connection. So you really,
Why is he bringing it up?
I like you guys, and I want to collaborate with you guys, but you're totally unqualified to critique a work without reading it.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be just like Tommy. You're a musician, and when your little pop-up came up, I was watching some Beethoven. If the Rolling Stones came out with a new album, God forbid in their 80s, if they came out with a new album and you started saying it's horrible, Mick Jagger's no good, they can't perform anymore, Keith Richards can't, you can't say that without listening to the album. You've got to listen to it before you're qualified to know what the standards of criticism are. So this whole conversation, as much as I like both of you and I look forward to collaborating with you in the future, you need to read the book before you criticize it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And I tried to move on. You guys keep going back. It's not factual. It's not factual. I'm trying to move the conversation forward, and you're like a one-trick pony. You keep saying the same
It's
thing.
just that
over.
we've seen
the conversation on to the next subject.
Well, the subject is actually the portrayal of media of Brian Koberger, and I think I have a problem with it. Yeah, I don't know if you have a problem with it when somebody's coming out and trying to paint this man as the new Unabomber. That's like the whole new plan is like, do we have enough evidence? No.
He didn't say that. He didn't say he was the new Unabomber.
No, but that's my perspective on it. He didn't say it. He didn't say it, but you bet the media will. You bet the media will. And they're going to twist it to like one of those situations. Like,
they're already
let's just
doing
make
it.
the man more and more guilty. And I
Nancy
really wanted to come on here.
I don't know that.
You don't know
With
that.
Nancy
Okay.
Grace.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see who's right.
But how can you say, you know what? I've read lots of books in my life,
Mhm.
and I've seen and they say they're factual and blah blah blah, and they turn out not to be. Just because you read a book does not mean it's factual.
Oh, no, of course not.
Period.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, if Koberger is found not guilty to this crime, does he have a legal grounds to actually sue this man because he's trying to sell this as a factual book?
You really don't want to move the conversation forward, do you? You just want to ride that one-trick pony, right?
I mean, this is a new question for you. It's a legal question.
It's the same thing. You're just kind of twisting it around.
Well, has his father?
Has whose father?
Koberger's father, a legal ground to stand on because he writes about his mind and what happens in the car. Does his father have legal grounds to stand on in a lawsuit against Koberger?
I really don't know.
He's portraying this as factual.
I hadn't thought
He's
about
portraying as factual, but he keeps saying, I believe the cover his ass. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I doubt it. I doubt it. If he had a good faith basis for saying it, and if it's based on some facts, some source, some interviews, where's the grounds?
Where's the ground?
Yeah.
Well, he destroyed a family. I mean, he's part of destroying a family because he's implicating them in knowing what was going on. Because ultimately, he's writing about his father knowing something's up with Koberger or his son, implicating that, you know, maybe he should have said something. Or that's a hard one for me to sit back and just be like, okay, does that man have no legal standing in this whatsoever? You portrayed me as like knowing something was up with my son.
He didn't really know. He didn't really know anything in terms of having a factual basis. He had suspicions. We all have suspicions. I get up in the morning and I think that, you know, the IRS is going to come and grab me. They've never done it yet. You know, he didn't say that the father knew anything. He just said that the father had some suspicions, which, you know, parents always have suspicions about kids. Parents always have misgivings. So
sure,
But, you know,
but what if
when
it turns out not to
like
be true?
let's say 320 is 324. 324 people that is interviewed, one can be the one that's telling the truth out of 324. One.
Well, your commenters are accusing me of being a Democrat. I'm a lifelong independent, and it's a long story, but I've never
Hey, what's wrong? I'm not a bad on Democrats.
I'm a lifelong independent my entire life. It's a long story I won't bore you all with now, but I mean, several of your viewers have likened me to Biden, and some of them are accusing me of being a Democrat, and it's like,
what does politics got to do with this?
Ask your commenters, and Golf, they're telling me to be nice to you, so I'll be nice to you. They're saying I'm being rude to you. I'm just
no. I'm not taking it personal.
Everybody be nice. Everybody be nice out there. We're just
and I like having discussions with anybody, and I think I thought we agreed sort of on this one at least, but it seems like you're trying to tell me that you think because I'm not. Sorry, go ahead, Tommy.
Susie G makes a point, and I'm not going to go at the Andrew with this, but she makes a point. Let's put it this way: Andrew was unqualified to give an opinion because he was not in the car. That's not what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is that. Hold on 1 second, until I'm done. Bloom is unqualified to give an opinion because he was not in the car. You know what I'm saying? Bloom was not qualified to make that because he was not in the car.
Here's the answer to that, and some of your viewers aren't going to be in tune with this, but I wasn't on the moon on July 20th of 1969 either. But I know that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were. You know why? Because you can verify it from sources. And yeah, I know there's all these people out there that say, we didn't go to the moon. Well, you know what? You can verify it. And even the Soviets, not the Russians, because it was still the Soviet Union, they were tracking the whole thing with their radios and with radar that can beam up to the moon and actually verify that they were there. So I didn't need to be on the moon on July 20th of 1969. I was sitting at home watching it on TV, but you verify it with facts. So no, you're right. I wasn't in the car with the guy, but you can verify it, and journalists verify stuff. And the old tune journalists, not the guys today, but the old time journalists verify stuff with two sources. So that's the answer to your viewer who says I'm unqualified to say what Mr. Koberger was thinking.
And what if those two sources just happen to be unqualified to be sources?
Well, what if the radar was wrong about being on the moon? And what if the Soviets had bad radar and didn't track? I mean, at some point, we have to understand that people that are professionals and that have a career and that follow certain standards, you got to say, okay. Now, we disagree on that. That's fine. Can we move on?
Nope. I have a follow-up to that one. I'm not going to let you go so easy. Sorry.
Okay.
No.
I get back to Beethoven.
I'm going to follow up on that because we do know one of the sources, at least, that he used in this research of his, which is a TikToker by the name of Brett Norton, right?
Okay.
And her track record, I can tell you because I've had contact with her directly. I know exactly how she operates and how she functions and what kind of information she was feeding him. As I'm saying, very questionable sources. Now, if you know that, what's behind his parts of what he has researched, because we know she's behind it, does that make you question anything at all? Questionable
Question
sources?
everything. I questioned him. I questioned him on a list of 10 things. What? You're not listening to me. I questioned him through the whole thing, and I told him I didn't agree with him.
Okay.
So with all due respect to you, Golf, with all due respect to you, I did question him all the way through.
And I think you did, and I love that.
And Yoli did too. Yoli questioned.
I know.
And I wish you would have had more time because she really wanted to go after the guy. And she asked him a few questions, and that was it. You know, I'd love to have him on again. When I listened to that episode again today, when I was in the gym, I was in the gym for a little more than an hour, so I could listen to the whole thing over again. You know, I said to myself, "Oh, darn! I wish I'd have asked him some more follow-ups because he didn't really answer all of my questions. I asked him questions that he didn't follow up." But I was trying to produce the show and run the board and make sure the audio was good. And, you know, so, I mean, you know,
and I wish you would have him on again because, as I say, it was fantastic. And my favorite one was, can you tell us anything about the outside, a little bit of outside of this book? That question I fully enjoyed as well. Like, that was a very thought out, good question. And so please do more if you can with him.
Did you notice when Nancy Grace interviewed him for Court TV, she was just like, we know what happened. I've been following this case forever, and now we know. And the same thing with ABC. ABC did a Good Morning America 3.5-minute piece. I think it was last Thursday or Friday, right after the book. Actually, it was in advance of the book, and they really put the guy up on a pedestal. So I questioned the guy all the way through, and in the very end of our episode, I said, "Mr. Bloom, I don't agree with you. I'll give you the last word." You know, out of deference to the guy that came on my podcast. I mean, it's hard to get people. You know, it's hard to get.
I know.
So I got him on, but I told him right to his face I didn't agree with him.
Yeah. And that's good. And what Nancy Grace did was she was like, "Oh my God, we now have an answer to what happened to the Idaho 4."
And she was also really rude. She had this panel of 4 people on. The really good guy from, what is it called, the Interview Room. She had him on, and she had a couple of other really great guests. But I think she might have let him talk for 30 seconds. She kept going on and on and on. And
if you noticed, you noticed the reason she had them on is to cement this as fact.
Yeah.
So because when one of them talked about, okay, let's go, how would the family react in a situation like this? So that's what I'm saying. This is like being sold as a factual. It's like institutionalized almost as a factual thing right now, is that this is what happened. So, you know, that's exactly what you didn't do that. You didn't sell this with Bloom there. You're selling it as a book that he wrote, and, you know, and we don't agree on the details and what you wrote. That's how you approached it. But of course, how she approaches it, Nancy Grace, is like, "Oh my God, you told us the truth now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bloom. How can I kiss your feet?" Of course.
And the other thing about it, it's really hard to get people. I mean, I'm a little guy. I only have 6,000. I don't even have 6,000 subscribers. So you don't know how many people we've called to come be on the show, come be on our podcast, and they ghost you or whatever. So he wants to come on. I think that's great, even though I don't agree with him. And I have a bullet list of 10 things I tell him to his face I don't agree with, and I'm getting crap for it. But it's so hard to get people on. Wouldn't it be boring if you just had people on your podcast that agreed with you all the time? "Oh, yeah, that's true. Yep. Okay." I mean,
exactly.
watch that.
That's why I invited Coffindaffer to my show, because her and we go back and forth in DMs, and we have totally different viewpoints on the whole Idaho case. But I invite her because I want to talk to people like that. I want to see why you think the way you think.
Does she come on? Have you had her?
I hope so. She said she's thinking about it. My channel is like, I have 600 because I'm just using it as a platform for when I feel like, I want to come on and vent. I'm using it in a little bit of a different way. But so, yeah, I would love to have her on. Obviously, you want to talk to people with different points of views. And that's the whole point here. And being open to any, if it comes out tomorrow, I'm not convinced it's not Koberger, but I'm also not convinced that it is Koberger who did.
No, none of us know. None of us were there.
Exactly.
I tend to think it wasn't him. I could give you like 20 reasons. I think the probable cause affidavit is so full of holes. I think the investigation was shoddy. But the thing we have to remember is, if you follow the Murdoch case closely, there were a lot of problems with the way SLED, South Carolina Law Enforcement Agency Division, handled that case. A lot of problems that, we could sit here and talk for an hour about all the mistakes that SLED made, but they got their conviction. So we can sit here and talk about how shoddy the investigation was, how they didn't shut down the crime scene right away, how when the police got there, it was 8 hours later and there were kids standing outside, and they didn't immediately get their names, numbers, statements, and shut down the crime scene immediately,
or separate them. Yeah,
exactly. And it goes on and on and on and on. We could sit here and talk about how shoddy the investigation was, but it is what it is, and they could still get a conviction. Now,
sure, exactly.
I've said I don't think he's guilty. I really don't, but there is that possibility, and I want to be objective about it. I really want to be as objective as I can possibly be about the thing.
But I still want to talk to people who are 100% convinced that he is guilty, on the other hand, because I want their perspective to add to my arsenal of knowledge. And, that's a good conversation.
Look, yes. Lo and behold, we agree.
Except on this book. Being factual.
One-trick pony.
It's a one-trick pony, correct.
I've read a lot about this case. I've been reading his airmail articles. There's really not a whole lot new in the book that wasn't in his airmail articles. I don't know if you're following us, but I've been reading.
I follow them. Yeah, I mean, I was guessing that that's what he was doing, is putting it out in that format, and then he rewrites it a little bit, and then he puts it in the book. But I'm sure there's like details that wasn't in an airmail article, but I read every single one of them. Yes.
But there's been a lot out there that I've read. I've read a lot of stuff. I've read a lot of the court pleadings. A lot of the court pleadings are online. You can actually download them and read them. And I've listened to most of the court hearings. And if I wasn't able to listen to them live, because I'm trying to maintain some kind of a practice, I go back and I listen to them. So I've been trying to read everything I can on all sides of the thing. And
that's what we do too, Andrew. We're funny. Like, I stick to the court documents and court hearings and what comes out there. I do not go down, like, you go down one or two rabbit holes, sure, fine, but you try not to. You just stick to the facts, right? The facts of the cases, we know them, is the PCA and what comes out in court documents and what comes out in hearings, and that's it. Stick to that, and that's exactly what I try to do, and that's why I'm like, when somebody's trying to sell me a factual story, I don't know that to be true. And I have a problem with it because of that. I'm looking at court documents. I'm looking at what comes out, and the information that comes out doesn't necessarily fit with the factual story that Mr. Howard Bloom is trying to portray in his airmail articles. Now, hold on. Just because that's what I read. I haven't read his book, as you know. So that's all I'm saying. And I do have a problem with painting Mr. Koberger here as the next Unabomber, which I'm thinking that's what they're going to get ready to do.
I don't know if that's exactly what he said. He just said there was a cart missing. And I thought to myself, I don't know. I mean, it's stupid
in itself, but, they're probably going down the rabbit hole with that one because of the lack of evidence.
People have such confirmation bias. People think one thing, and if you just veer a little bit, they get all. One of your viewers says, Andrew, if you don't agree with me, you're wrong, Myers. I've collaborated with a couple of people who we just totally disagree, but we're able to be friendly and professional. And
Mhm.
there's one person I'm not going to name because we actually haven't done anything for the last 2 weeks, but there's one person that I collaborate with all the time who we just totally disagree about this thing. But it
Mhm.
makes for a good collaboration, and it makes for a good discussion because, again, we don't agree. And so we'll take an issue and we'll hash out both sides of it. And so, you know, your commenters have every right to say what they do, but to say that Andrew says that if you don't agree with me, you're wrong, you know, that's taking it just a little bit
Nah,
far
yeah,
because you know what? It's not the way it works. You know,
yeah.
again, in what I do, we all have our own points of view. We go into court representing a party. We have an adversarial system, whether that's right or wrong. A guy I know says that trying a case is really impractical way to solve a problem, but it's what
Mhm.
we have. So we do things through the adversarial process. I represent A, somebody else represents B. You
Mhm.
know, we talk on the phone, we go to depositions, we go to lunch together, we, you know, exchange papers, interrogatories, requests for production, all that kind, and we talk about our cases all the way through. We
Mhm.
get into court, we're at loggerheads, but it's an amicable kind of relationship. So I don't know why we can't be amicable
Yeah,
about, you
yeah,
know, disagreeing about these things. I totally disagree per se that he's guilty and he did it. I don't
yeah.
agree with that. I think
Well,
Ann Taylor's doing a fantastic job. I've
me
said
too.
it on my podcast.
Mhm.
Oh,
And there are times that I maybe don't agree with what she does either, but that's just me and being ignorant to the court process and knowing what she's maybe doing or something, and I understand myself enough to be, knowing that, and I might not be right, and of course she knows what she's doing because
here's a good
she's a
example of
really good lawyer.
here's a good I think she's a great lawyer. Here's a
Yeah.
really good example of YouTube thinking and confirmation bias. About a month ago, about 9 minutes and 53 or 4 seconds in, Ashley Jennings went hush to the defense.
Mhm.
And
Mhm. I remember that.
we listened to it back and forth, and she said hush. Some people said she said judge, but she said something.
Hush.
Now
Yeah.
I had my own commenters saying she never said that. I haven't heard any other commenters say that. No one else has said that. And it's
Mhm.
because I went around and I only saw one other YouTube creator that had mentioned it kind of way down in her description section. But
Mhm.
because no one else mentioned it but us on our channel, it didn't happen. And I was wrong and I was attacked for that. So that's why when my thinking is kind of challenged, yeah, I get my dander up. Of course.
Mhm.
I'm glad
Mhm.
I'm a
Mhm.
human being, but don't tell me I was wrong. And don't, we listened to it, and that Ashley Jennings never said hush. She did.
Yeah,
We
she
did a,
did.
we
I
did a,
heard it too. I saw your show.
some people,
Andrew.
thank you. Some people said she didn't say hush. She said judge. And I listened to it back and forth, and it was kind of hard. And we did a little poll, and way more people said she said shush than hush. But
Yeah,
anyhow, people just want to believe what they believe, and whether it's right or wrong, they really get uptight about it.
exactly. And that's confirmation bias. Correct.
Exactly.
Yes. And I understand the process. I trust me, I do. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be like very open-minded about this case and looking at the facts, and that's it. So to me, Howard Bloom is
Golf is a fact person. She won't even go down rabbit holes with me.
no.
She doesn't go down rabbit holes with me at all. Um,
I have
eh,
respect for you doing it though.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I have respect for you not doing it. So yeah,
Mm, yeah.
but yeah, golf is a fact-based person. Yeah,
Well, I'd like
no
to think
doubt
that
about
I
it.
am too, because I really don't like going down the, just all opinion. I mean, we do all have our opinions and we all are kind of guided by it, unfortunately or fortunately.
Hmm.
But I'm the same way. Before we do an episode, we do an awful lot of research, and people constantly, will post on my comment section, you're wrong. And then I'll go back and check, and it's like, no, I'm not wrong. But people just tell you you're wrong. And it's like,
Yeah.
No, and I'm trying to think what the example was. I think it was in the. I don't know if you're following the Karen Reed trial, which is really big up here.
I mean, it's been nuts. Yes, a little bit.
And what's his? What the heck? The ATF agent, Brian Higgins.
Mhm.
Brian Higgins admitted on the stand. He was on the stand under oath. The judge sitting, right up there, 10 feet away from him. He admitted on the stand that he destroyed his phone after he received the non-destruction order.
Mhm.
He admitted it on the stand. So
Mhm.
we actually ran that cut on our show, and we discussed that cut. And more than one or two people told us we were wrong. What were we talking about? We didn't even have a right to do a podcast on that trial because we were wrong.
Mhm.
And I went back. One guy even baited us. It was a beautiful Saturday. I was out doing some garden work and some other stuff. One guy even baited us and said, I'll wait for you to make a correction. I'll wait until you correct yourself. So that's what we're up against here.
Mhm.
I agree with you. Facts are important, but a lot of people, you can have your own opinion, but you can't have your own facts.
Mhm.
A lot of people do. They just
AKA Mr. Bloom, exactly.
yeah. Well, all right. I want to get back to my Beethoven.
Oh, well, it was fantastic talking to
Very
you,
nice.
Andrew.
Yeah, it's always great talking to you, Andrew.
Yeah, I got a little pop-up that came up and said that you were doing your thing, and I don't know why, but I got a little pop-up. So all right. You guys have a great show.
Thank you. Bye.
All right,
Bye.
you too. Yep, take care. Yep.
All right. Well, back
Oh,
to
that
it.
was quite interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, I understand his
I
point of
think he
view.
was just. I think he came in a little bit chippy on because of he lost some subs and had to delete over 100 comments.
Yeah, that's okay.
And
That's okay.
that's kind of a rugged thing to do.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Go
Yeah.
in there and have to delete 100 negative comments and see that you've
No.
lost. And I don't understand why, because he was not. I mean, I thought it was a great interview.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's the only one that actually questioned
Mhm.
Bloom and told Bloom, "I don't believe this."
Mhm.
He wasn't
Yeah.
having any of it.
Yeah.
So it really surprises me that people treated him like that.
Yeah.
But our family here turned on him pretty quick.
Yeah, they're very protective of you, Tommy. They're very protective of you and of me too. Thank you.
Right.
But yeah,
Open
no, I
mind.
mean, back to our point
Yeah.
though. I mean, I still think that this is a problem, and I think
I
it's
think
going to
so
be
too. I
a
think
bigger
it's a huge
problem,
problem.
and it's going to be even bigger, Tommy, because this is going to be painted
Yeah.
in the media as one thing, where it's
But
like,
they're already doing it. They're already
Mhm.
doing it. Nancy Grace jumped all over it like right away, and
Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about this Unabomber situation
oh,
here. Yeah,
the whole thing. Yeah, that's gonna
yeah,
it's gonna get worse.
yeah.
And you can't tell me that there isn't a plan behind this.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a plan behind this.
There's definitely a plan behind this.
There's a
definitely
theory
a
that's
plan.
forming, and that's like playing out right now in front of us. And did I not say in our last live that, this man has made a deal, and this is the deal. You spread our information, and he's doing it very good. Very good. So,
All right. Yeah.
and that has me actually pretty angry because he's taking it to the next level, right? In my opinion, he's
Yep.
taking it to the next level. So
Yep.
where does this stop? Where does this end? They want their conviction so bad, and the only way they can get it is to spread like rumors like this about this man. So there you go.
Right.
Are they going to
Yep.
find his what is it called, that DNA, touch DNA on that card? Wouldn't that be
Right.
ironic? His touch
Right.
DNA is
Well,
going to be found on that card. Good Lord.
that's what I'm thinking is, why did somebody steal this card?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did someone, and I don't think it was Brian. I think it has something to do with the DNA.
Yeah. So now let's say not only, like, how does that even fit? How does one like do that? Like, okay, I'm going to go kill 4 students. Then I'm going to turn around and maybe I'll do a bomb. mean, what the hell? Is
Right.
he the first man in the moon? I mean, I don't know. This is just too
Make
much
a
for me.
bomb. Come
This
on,
is like,
give me a break.
where
You know what
are
I
we?
mean?
Like, yeah, this is fantasy land to me at this point. Fantasy
Yeah,
land.
yeah. There's no truth behind that whatsoever. And even if there was a cart stolen, and
Yeah.
even if the DNA didn't come from there, and even if it wasn't going to be used for bombs, someone stole a cart with some chemicals and they found it. I wonder where they did find it. That hasn't come out.
Well, no,
Where did they
and
find this cart?
this might turn out, Tommy, to be the same thing. Remember when they were like, oh, his family went into a grand jury in questioning
Mhm.
in something, and they told us nothing about it. We don't even know like 100% if that even happened, because the media, and they just like put that little crumb out there, and that was enough for people to run with, right? Not for people, sorry, the
Right,
media. The media
right,
to run with, like, oh, look, that makes him look even more guilty now because his family was called in for that grand jury hearing, right? And we don't
right,
even know if that's got anything to do with anything, but they put those crumbs out there. And maybe this is another situation where they're just like putting those crumbs out there in this case with like, oh, somebody stole a card going to that chem lab, right? And then that's all they need to do. That's all they need to do to paint that picture. And that's some
right.
bullshit. That's some bullshit because
Yeah, it
it's gonna
is.
come out
It's
there.
total
And
bullshit.
I think everybody on YouTube, if you know, have a voice and just voice how disgusted you are with the developments, because the media is gonna want a groundbreaking, they're gonna do like a groundbreaking investigation. This is, you know, it's gonna come out. Like if Bloom says, yeah, other people, they're, you know,
Oh,
he's telling other people.
Twizzle's saying that he thinks it's a lab card, not cart.
Yeah, card.
Yeah, I
CARD.
thought he. Oh, I thought it was cart at first.
No, a
Oh,
card to
a
get
lab
into a
card.
lab, you know, like a card, a key card kind of to get
Oh,
into a
well, that
laboratory.
even makes it even more. Actually that makes it really suspicious about getting DNA.
Well, it's a chem lab, chemistry lab.
Yeah, but I would
So,
think that card would open up all
but
the labs.
even that, I mean, it's bullshit. Let's just call it for what it
Right.
is. It's bullshit.
Someone could have just lost their card, and
Did they find it? No. He never answered the question when Andrew asked him, did they find the card? No, they didn't. But they
Right.
suspect. See, and that's enough. That's enough to paint someone out to be the next Unabomber on top
Yeah,
of everything else, right?
and
Suspecting.
and all he's doing is implanting in everybody's mind Brian's guilty.
Correct.
Brian's guilty.
And
Brian's
I'm
guilty.
happy that that came out because now we know who fed him that information. He says it
Right.
like you did the little clip, federal investigators. So we know where that comes from. We know who
Right.
gave him that information. He's getting fed information from either on a federal level or on a local law enforcement level. He's getting fed
Right.
information. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. We're not taking that as fact, just as at least I'm not taking Howard Bloom's book as
None of
fact.
this.
You all can. I'm not. And I'm not reading it either.
But if things are going missing, that could be used to make a bomb. Things are going missing, yeah, but that could be a whole separate thing. And when did it go missing? You know what I mean? We're just learning about this now. When did it go missing?
And now everything has to do with Koberger all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the killer and the Unabomber and what else? Stalker
yeah.
and incel, and what else can they put on him? You know,
Right.
might as well.
Yeah.
Horrible. Yeah, sorry it turned into such a chaos driven, you know.
Well, yeah, he came in kind of chippy, but um, I didn't expect that from him at all. To tell you the truth,
Mm,
I didn't expect that from him at all.
yeah, I mean
But he's an old media person, so
yeah.
uh, so you have to respect that too.
Yeah.
And I understand him to the point where uh, the freedom of speech thing and stuff. But there's such a fine line there.
Well, sure. I mean, and also what he said, it is partly true. You're not, you shouldn't criticize something you haven't read or, yourself, right?
Mhm.
That's partly true. And as he
Yeah, it is.
said, same with
Um,
music, you have to listen to it before you criticize it. Sure, absolutely. But it still doesn't stop the fact that he's selling it as fact, as a factual book. That
right.
still stands even if I read it or not and have my opinion based on what I'm reading, it's still, him stating that it's a fact, right? A factual
Yeah,
book.
and I guess that's what was getting to me is that he wasn't
Mm.
understanding that like the whole Brian's father and the car thing, trying to tell us what his mind was thinking. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
come on, give me a fucking break, man. That isn't factual book. That isn't a factual book. And someone did tell me, and more than one have told me, it says in the back of the book somewhere that the book is a fictional book. Now, I don't
So
know
it's
if that's true
classified
or not.
maybe as a fiction. I don't know if it's in the description in the end or somewhere that this
Yeah,
is a book
I
of
don't know
fiction.
either.
Maybe I don't know. I haven't, as I say, I haven't laid my hands on that book. I looked it up
Right.
on Amazon and I couldn't see it. It was under true crime. That's all I know. But as far as that goes, I don't know. I couldn't make a
Yeah, if it's
statement
under
on that.
true crime, see, then that's so misleading too. It
Mhm.
shouldn't be listed. It should be listed under.
Mm.
There should be more menus.
Mhm.
Because it isn't true. It isn't factual. And did okay, he talked to 324 people, but did he go look and find out if all 324 people were telling the truth? No, he just went and talked to
Well,
324 people.
correct. But and also, as I said, you have to look at the sources because I don't know if Andrew
Right.
is familiar with Brett Norton or not. I don't know if he is, but maybe he needs to be in this case because of what she's done and the kind of work she's done, right? So you
Did you
have to be.
mention that? Did you
Yes, I
mention
did. I
her,
did.
Ed?
I did.
Did you?
And you
Yeah.
have to be familiar with his sources. Like we are because we've had dealings with her, right? We know exactly who she is and who she brought to the table as a person who has witnessed the crime and good lord, like she that was all her. That was all her doing. And so
Right.
knowing that and then that person is as a source of his book, that's pretty fucking scary to me. I'm sorry to swear, but that is scary to me. That's
Right.
scary
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we are familiar with at least that source of his. So, and then, we can only imagine the
Right.
rest.
But there's 300 and some sources,
Hmm.
but did he check the sources that they're saying, oh, this has happened and blah blah blah? Did he check those 324?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
if you're going to deep dive into something and write a book, you'd want to
Mm.
make sure. And I don't know if I would do 324 people.
Well, I mean,
Um,
you don't even have to do that. You
to
can
get
do
the
it like he
story.
wrote it. You can write it as he wrote it. That's not a
Mm,
problem. As I say, that he can do 30 more books on it if he wanted to. I don't have a problem with him writing a book about the Idaho case, but don't sell it as fiction, or as a theory book, or this is
mm.
my theory on what happened, because we could we
And
could all write a book about our theories, right, of what happened
right,
that night.
right. And now, why don't they have that as a subject? Like you have your fiction books, like science fiction, your true crime. They should have one theory.
Well, I guess
They,
I
they,
don't know.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, I do.
Because
I
there is a
do.
lot of books out there that are just theories, and
Hmm.
maybe they should do that because and they should do that with news media.
Hmm.
If this is a theory show, if I'm doing an opinion show on national media, it should say opinions or theory or
Hmm.
something instead of making it factual news when
Mhm.
it and indeed is not factual news.
Yeah.
And
And
they've gotten away with that for so long.
Twiz, I don't think that, I mean, that Bloom didn't say anything about anything being stolen other than that key card, or a card is what he said.
Right. But
Yeah,
Twiz is right. Twiz is right there. It doesn't matter if it's fiction. He used real names,
he did.
real
Well,
towns.
he did, and a lot of people do that. I don't have a problem with even that. I
He's going
really
to get
don't.
sued.
Yeah, I don't
He's
have a
going to get
problem with
sued.
that. I don't think
No,
so. I mean,
because he's going to get his ass sued when it's over with, if it
mm,
doesn't taint the jury.
mhm.
Uh, like I said, I told you before, I think he's going to get hung there. But he's going to win an appeal. And they're just never going to go after the real people. They knew who the real people are.
Yeah, I
They've
don't
known
know.
it all along.
I'm
They knew it the day they were there, the
I'm
day it
think
happened.
they're trying to get something on Koberger so bad. Like they
Yep.
really wanted to hang him. Like they want him.
Yep. Yep. They want him
Yeah,
really bad. Yep.
they're gonna
Yep. And
bury
and
him in bad.
I think he pissed off law enforcement somehow.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think he pissed off a lot of he pissed off a professor. He pissed off students. So they were after him from day one.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know any of that to be true. That's just something that's been reported on. I know.
Right.
I can't take that as fact, just as I can't take Blue's book as fact. It's been reported
Right.
that, whatever happened there with his professor, I don't know if that happened. I know what the source is behind it. I know that Gigi
Right.
Girl is the source, and that scares me more than anything, that people take that seriously. So
Right.
again, there we are with the sources, which can be like either good or bad. But you have like YouTubers and TikTokers and flipping crazy people left and right,
Right.
doing all this, and they're naming them as sources. That's crazy to me.
Right.
you know so
Yeah.
anyway, so that's an important
Yeah.
part in
So
this.
yeah. Anyway, we wanted to get out and get this information out there. This card that supposedly
Yeah,
it might not even be true. It might
yeah.
not even be true. I wonder what his source is on that.
He said it. He said his source
Did
was fed. Yeah, you clipped it, Tommy.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, the federal. Yeah, the
Yeah,
federal. Yeah.
Fed.
Well, then they're stating right there that and there's a gag order.
Well, that's what I'm telling you, is he just told on himself that he's getting information from
The feds,
law enforcement. Yes.
law enforcement. Yeah,
Yeah, feds or whichever, it doesn't matter. Same shit,
it
right?
doesn't matter. Right.
They're feeding him information. So
Yeah.
he
So
said it,
I have a
so we
hard
know
time
that.
that he's talking to the FBI. I think he wants to look bigger than he is. I think he's probably got someone in LE somewhere just whispering in his ear little things and you said it. You said it really
Mhm,
good when you said outdated information,
mhm.
because it is very outdated information. It is that whole
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
Now, I haven't read the whole book, and I'm not gonna. Go. I'm not gonna. I'll. You know what? I'll read it if someone else buys it, because I ain't putting money. I ain't putting money into that guy's pocket for that book. I
Yeah,
won't do it.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and
that's not the
I believe
reason
that.
I'm not reading it, is because it costs me money. I just don't care
Yeah,
about enough about it to read it because
yeah,
of his sources. I'm sorry. For me, it comes down to who he used as source. And I read his source. I know exactly what his source is. So I'm not gonna buy a book with that as a source. That's it. That's enough for me to not buy the book.
right.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But you
No,
guys
I'm
can
not
buy
gonna.
it. You might
Yeah,
not have an issue
who
with the
else can buy
source,
it?
but I sure do. And
Yeah,
so that's, I would buy 10 books of another author that has genuine sources, that,
right.
didn't use some TikToker who spread false information to a whole YouTube community.
Right. Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I guess that's about it for tonight for me. I
Yeah.
guess, girl. Yeah. Well, we got it out there, and I had quite the conversation with Andrew,
and I think people should just watch this.
But I love Andrew. I love Andrew. I think he's a great guy. So
he is. He's fantastic.
Don't take him wrong. Some people thought he was drinking and stuff, and maybe he is. It's a Saturday day. Maybe having a couple of
yeah.
He's got a life to live, So
and he's coming from a legal perspective, so we shouldn't knock him on that one. And
he's coming from a legal perspective.
Yes, I have no problems with it, and I enjoyed talking to him. So no, don't take that wrong. But what Tommy and I and Rory wanted to ultimately do is just a heads up for everybody, because this is going to come out. You're going to see it in the media. Let's circumvent this bullshit, because it is bullshit, with that card, the stolen card. That is going to come out, and they're going to spin that out of control. So heads up to everybody, and let's give a big thumbs up to ourselves for circumventing this one, or actually a thumbs up to Andrew Myers, because it's thanks to him that this came out. So thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, and it was I thought it was a great interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you haven't watched it on Andrew's channel, go watch it. It's not a bad interview. I mean, I was really happy he did it, because he actually questioned Bloom and told Bloom, I don't agree with you. I don't believe you. I don't agree with you. So I give him a heads up. I really do on it. I give him a heads up.
Fantastic interview.
Good job. Good job. Andrew, that was and Lainey and the new one, can't remember her name, Red something, I think.
Well, Yoli, Lainey, and
Yoli, Yoli's awesome. Yeah, and she actually had some really good things that she said too.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, go to Andrews. Please sub him. He lost a bunch of subs over this, and I don't think he should lose subs. Be nice in his comments, please. I mean, really. I mean, he is a really nice guy, and he looks at things in a legal way, because he's a lawyer. So that's the way he looks at it. Is people have freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Now it will come out later if that freedom of speech is not going to cost Mr. Bloom a lot of money.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
But yeah, support Andrew, because we need his perspective. We need his insight, and I think it's a good one to have. So go support Mr. Myers. And our little discussion tonight, I think, had a lot to do with his delay too. So he couldn't hear me, and
that's really hard. But he did get it fixed. He did get it fixed.
I think he misunderstood it. So don't be angry.
Yeah, don't be angry. Anyway. It was good talking to you again, Golf. I love you, girl.
Too, and thank you, everybody, for being here. Heads up.
Yep. And we shall see you next time around, girl.
See ya. Bye, everyone.
Yep. All right, guys. And I love you, my crowd, my beautiful crime family. And I like the way you're coming back. What we believe is the truth. And and I love you guys very much. So, and to my subs, you're my heart, and my mods are my soul. And until next time, rock and roll. And I promised someone, and I hope they're still here. I promised her I would play this song, so that's what I'm gonna do. And let that hammer come down. Rock and roll.
Hi, and thank you so much for watching our cover of Kashmir. I want to take this moment to say a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart to all my supporters on Patreon and the YouTube channel membership for keeping this music alive. Making this video happen was an absolute delight, but it's also important to keep in mind how much money, time and resources is needed to make something like this. It is important to me to pay all my musicians. We had to make an arrangement for all the brass and string players, rehearse, record and do all the mixing and editing.
I wanna hold the hand inside you. I wanna take the breath that's true. I look to you and I see nothing. I look to you to see the truth. You live your life, you go in shadows. You'll come apart and you'll go black. Some kind of night into your darkness. Colors your eyes with what's not there. Fade into you. Strange you never knew. Fade into you. I think it's strange you never knew. A stranger's light comes on slowly. A stranger's heart without a home. You put your hand